Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. Dricus, our champion in the middleweight division, has some interesting comments to make in regards to his opponent, or supposedly his upcoming opponent, Khamzat Chimaev. Those comments were made, I believe, on the Ariel Helwani show. MMA Junkie, shout out to Ariel Helwani. We're going to talk about Dricus comments. Before getting started, make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Dricus, interestingly, claims that Khamzat Chimaev is not the boogeyman, well, at least to him. To everybody else, he would agree probably that he's the boogeyman, but to him, Dricus, the champion of middleweight division, that's not so much the case. Matter of fact, he thinks that all a Khamzat Chimaev represents to him is a fight that's going to add to his legacy, but he's just another fighter, basically, is what he's saying. Great mindset, mentality heading into this fight. I want to make a comparison between Dricus, his comments, and Yuri Prochazka's comments on a guy that he faced multiple times, Alex Pereira, and how Alex Pereira's aura kind of got to Yuri Prochazka and ultimately, derailed his career, at least temporarily. For Dricus, mentality, we talked about mentality so much on this channel, but this is prime example of a guy fully confident in his skill set, and he doesn't care about the buffers, because when you're inside of that octagon, the truth is, both fighters have an equal opportunity to finish one another. The level of athlete at that level, obviously the very top of the pyramid, is those guys are separated by very small margins. So fights are not won by words or gimmicks. Fights are, well, sometimes they are. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes they are. It depends on who you're talking to, but apparently when you're talking or you're fighting against a guy like Dricus, who has from so far, the guy has a unbreakable, unshakable mindset, right? Thus far, that is, and this helps him a lot. This is going to help him a lot, I believe. I'm not sitting here and dismissing Khamzat Chimaev from perhaps proving himself to be the boogeyman to Dricus. I always say this about Chimaev. Chimaev is a guy that has a lot of potential, obviously, but there's two versions of Khamzat Chimaev, and it all depends on what version shows up to that fight, or even shows up at all, right? With all respect, I do understand that he's had health issues that he was not necessarily in control of. Perhaps, maybe he was in control of overtraining. Supposedly he did that a lot before. He overtrained a lot. Maybe he has visa issues that he's not necessarily in control of, right? Which prevents him from making certain events. I don't know if those issues have been resolved or whatnot, but it's pretty well known that Chimaev has visa issues. But on top of that, you have Chimaev that was tested at certain times, certain fights. When he comes to a fight, not in the right mentality, but if Khamzat Chimaev shows up in the same mentality and focus as he did the Robert Whittaker fight, it's bound to be a difficult night for Dricus. Now, I'm not siding with one guy over the other. I'm just laying everything out on the table, right? And whenever these two face each other, then we'll know truly who's the better out of the two. Obviously, Chimaev has the opportunity to prove himself the boogeyman if he shows up the focus. Chimaev not the one that showed up against Gilbert Burns or Kamaru Usman. My two favorite fights of recent memory for Chimaev that I like to bring up always, because especially Gilbert Burns, lots of holes in his game. Chimaev, that is. If he shows up that version, it's going to be a very difficult night for Chimaev. That number two. Obviously, the Kamaru Usman fight, which, he also kind of looked compromised. But if that version of Chimaev shows up against Dricus, it's going to be easy night for Dricus. But if a focused Chimaev shows up, like I said, it's bound to be a difficult night, and we're bound to see a new champion. But as for Dricus, he doesn't care about the buffers. He doesn't care about the introduction, sort of say. All he cares about is the fight itself, and I think that that's going to help the guy in many ways. Even if he loses his title, that mindset is going to help him reclaim his title. So this is going to be a very interesting fight to watch. It's not official as of yet. Keeping our fingers crossed, hoping this thing becomes official sometime soon. And ultimately, we would have to kind of give Dricus the slight advantage because he's proven himself time and time again. And obviously, he's, as he puts it, is perhaps the more well-rounded fighter out of the two, right? Is that going to be the case when these two face each other? Like I said, only time will tell. But ultimately, this is going to be a fascinating fight to watch. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe for more.